was 2 years ago. I was at your shop.
Right.
You showed me so many cool stuff. For example, all riders, they have space where your shop is to be able to have a workshop.
Yeah, that was the idea of Radex. We've got a vision about to improve the business. Have it connected the riders in the side of us, and then of course we can get it straight feedback from them. So the riders been very interested about that. We've got a couple of the workshops. One of them is the Artem, but there's a couple more riders as well. So there's a good possibility and also good opportunity for the mechanics. They get access to the parts just next door, so it's very handy for them.
How important for you as a parts supplier is the feedback from the riders on top of the world?
Well, it is very, very important. The motorsport, the Speedway is changing, very dynamic, because the base is quite similar, but small bits and pieces are changing, and so on. We always got a vision to improve it. We would like add the things. We always try develop the better products, and so on. And then, of course, the voices you can get it, the feedback you can get it of the riders, and then. As I am connected with Artem now, but he's been connected with the other riders in the past as well, been working with KK and Bjarni Pedersen and so on. They give us the good chance to listen to the voices of the riders as well. As I have not been trying, I've not been a rider myself, as the normal levels, we've just been doing some laps only.
Yeah.
Then I don't get an idea how it is to be on the bike. So more I can talk to the riders is absolutely fantastic for me. And then even now, when I've got the chance to meet the riders, one of the examples is Greg Hancock I met a few weeks ago in Wrocław. Every minute I can talk to him is just build my experience up as well. And I think that's the way to do it. And I feel this is a very good bonus for me. If I get a chance to speak to the riders. Sometimes I used to speak to Jason Cramp and then still talk to Thomas Golo because we working together for the years as well and still friends as well. So it's a good chance to get a lot of information.
I also remember you showed me some parts that came from a totally different sport or developed from a different sport, a different team from Formula One. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's a very interesting story about, I met years back, I think it was 2014, first time, or 2015, met the guy, he's worked as a Formula One engineer. He used to work in Renault, now he's 7 or 8 years in Mercedes, doing a lot of work over there. And then he is full of passion for Speedway as well. But Speedway is his big hobby since he was a kid as well. So we find a very good communication about how we can bring a little bit from Formula One into Speedway. I mean, about the quality of the parts, technology a little bit as well. Of course, we've got a huge gap with the budgets. As we're never gonna get into this budget. But I mean, every single percent or even part of the percent you can bring on. You can improve, you can develop the better products and so on. And at the beginning, the cooperation was connected with Speed Products, and as I am a manager for Artem, so Artem was the first who be able to try the things, and then he was quite happy, give a lot of feedback to Mada, and then of course we bring these parts to all the riders. All the riders get the possibility to buy it as well, and we've got a lot of good feedback about that as well. And as I said, it's not only about to get the expensive parts. It's more about how to prepare bike better, how the bike can work better, and then during the season you can save the money. Spending more at the beginning, it saves you on the end. Of course, you get the better bike, you can get the faster bike, you can earn the more money from the points, you can be higher on the World Championship and things like that, And you always have to remember the Speedway is the motorsport, so it is a rider and the machine. So that's connected. So, and that one of the goals is to build this machine best as we can.
So it's important to have this good circle, you know. You have the good parts in the beginning, you get more money, and then it's like...
Yeah, but also it's not, Henrik, is not only about the parts only. The parts is one of the things, but the knowledge and all the knowledge they've got. The mother he know as an engineer, he give us a lot of other visions we never think about. You know, one example is that preparing the sashi for the two different tracks like Daugavpils and Cardiff. Then it's a lot of gap to play with. He said they prepare the body of the car for the Formula One races absolutely different way. Like for Monaco, you know, the car is so much glued into the track, like when they've got 120 k's an hour, it can go upwards, you know, on the roof, and then not fall down. So it shows how much we can play with. As you know, the Speedway is slightly different. Well, it is a big different and so on, but a lot of knowledge it helps us definitely.
I remember in my young days when I was racing, we heard these rumors that for riders like Jason Crump, he had one engine for each track. You know, one engine for each track for the Grand Prix series. So he was like, this engine was specifically made and for every track. So yeah.
Well, is this the way it's asked Jason about? Honestly, I don't really think it can be one for each. It can be one. It fits one of the track best. And this is the story I actually talked to Thomas Golub a few months back. He got a Java. He wanted a lot of Bydgoszcz Grand Prix on it. And it's just we put it on the corner and say for Bydgoszcz Grand Prix. Fit best that one. That's the true story about and so on. And I don't really think it's one engine for each track. You know, it can be a little bit too much. I think, you know,
a little bit too expensive, probably.
Well, it's not only about the money. If it's easy to count it. 12 rounds, 12 engines. You know, it's not the mega budget to have 12 engines if they're working perfect on each track. But we also have to remember we're running the Grand Prix, even if it's the same track on the different track condition, different time during the year. Sometimes it's a summer, sometimes it's an autumn. So that affects how the engines are worked as well. So I think we go year by year, you know. Then of course some of the engines the riders like it more, some less, but we more focus about what's happened during the season.
How important is the mechanic in a Speedway team?
Well, I think it's very important. The riders can say clearly, you know, it's about the rider need to get the team build it with the people he can trust 100%, then he can feel confident. And just because to be a Speedway mechanic, just looks simple with the spanners and things like that. The guy do it, you know. I've been doing it for the years as well, and I know it's not really very difficult job, but to understand from inside how to do it and what is important, you need to sit for the years there, you know, to get a better knowledge. And even if you finish very good, high quality school, you know, beyond the whole high school to study as an engineer, it's not so simple to bring it into Speedway directly. Of course, it helps. I don't gonna say, you know, the great engineer cannot be the good mechanic, but to be the good mechanic in Speedway, you need to get that experience. You know, the experience helps a lot, and then more years you are in Speedway, you've got more knowledge about the track conditions, about the weather conditions, engine setups, and all that things, you know, and then you can help your rider to deliver the fastest bike. You know, some of the riders are more in with that what happened with the bike. Some of the riders don't care and they don't want to be involved so much. You know, they want to race. So it all depends. That all riders are different and so on. But I think that the mechanics are important people, you know, not only about to do the job with the bikes, but also prepare them first in the winter before the season, prepare them between the races, driving with the teams, you know, and then build up the team spirit, you know, that's also important, you know. We
also hear about long bike, short bike. Can you tell people what does this mean?
Well, the long short bike is it's the long bike. It means you can put much as you can the back wheel into the rear, so you can put the weight and also not all the weight of the bike, but the weight of the bike with the rider. So, you can put a back wheel into the back. You can bring the weight more forward, and if you put it more forward, you can put the weight a little bit more into the back wheel as well.
Yeah.
And then this is especially important from the start, but not only. Sometimes the track condition when it's got very rough, then the bike can pick it up. Some riders like it, some riders don't. It all depends what style of the racing they've got and things like that. So we can play a lot with adjusting to just click few links in the rear chain actually, and then after we can move it on the rear part to frame the wheel. That can be a couple of centimeters altogether. That's the gap you can play with. But even half a centimeter can do it. The different the riders feel it.
We also have everything with the clutches. Everybody's talking about the clutches, adjustments of the clutches. We see this every time there's a test start. All the mechanics rush in, and if you have a start and the start get cancelled, all the riders rush. Why do they rush into the track just to do stuff? Can you explain this to people?
Well, if it's as you know, soon when the green light is on, then it's most of the time it's 2 minutes on as well. So then the riders got only 2 minutes to be prepared for the start. But often the riders want to do the practice start, and then the mechanics need to check the chains. Actually, sometimes they adjust the clutch slightly as well. But most of the time, it is with the chains as well. When after the practice start, the chain getting a little bit loose, they want to adjust again to make sure everything is correct. But then also the rush, because then less time mechanics spend to fix the bike after the practicing start, the more time the riders gonna have to prepare the start positions, with the racks, choose the right racks, put the material on and then be ready for the start. That's it's all about.
But you say when you do a test start, then is adjustment needed, because the chains get a little bit slack or something. Is this because of something is bending, twisting, or in the motion when he's doing the test start?
It's a huge pressure on the moment when the speedway riders drop the clutch. It's a big pressure into the bike, into the clutch, and into the chains as well. And that's the fact. Sometimes after the practicing start, nothing happened. The mechanic can have a quick look. That's it, gone. That they go. But I remember of my experience in past. That was the time with Golops. That was the best school. Actually, we've been prepared. We've been learn how to change the jet after the practicing start. So we've got only 2 minutes to change the jet in the carburetor. So the bike need to be stopped. The carburetor need to be the one of the screw have to
just
be off.
Disassembled, yeah.
Yeah. Then we've been ready to change the jet. And I remember we've got the same jet, one in the hand and the other one in the mouth.
Yeah.
We can drop one on the screwdrivers, during the change. There's no time to look in.
I know. Then you have the extra one.
Then we've got an extra one, and then we've been trying a couple of times with Thomas Golub. When we did it during the practice, then it's a lot easier to bring it into the meeting because we know we can do it. Of course, we can add the stress. You've got the clock is running and so on. But we've been trying very very often with Golubs. But by this time, also Mark Loram was with the same team as Thomas in Bydgoszcz.
Yeah.
And then Norway, he was used to work with Mark. He said, "It's no way Mark can do that to me. I'm not gonna do it." So that was also a good journey. But then after this school, when we went to work to the other riders, not only me but all the mechanics, they've been learning from Golubs. The Thomas teach us, and then we worked to the other riders, and that was easy, a lot of easier, for us. We've been trying with Thomas in past, so the riders been surprised.
So this idea with having extra jets was Thomas' idea, or?
Well, it's just came automatic. When you start thinking about, hey, what happened if I drop the jet? Yeah. There is no time. Sometimes it's going into the dirt, sometimes going between the cylinder or somewhere between an engine
just some
and
little small dirt seed.
just not as an extra spur, and with this size, then you can put it back again. Well, the other things is you can change in ignition. The riders get back.
Yeah.
We've got two screws on the ignition, take it off. A lot of mechanics still do it that by even now. During this times, but then it's also you have to as the mechanics, as a team, you need to be prepared. You're preparing that in the workshop.
Yeah.
You find the system, whatever works best for you. And then during the match, you can use the experience you've got it, mainly during the practice as well. But if you try it once or twice, then it's a lot easier. Yeah.
I seen when I was racing, I saw many fathers try to help their kids, and they try to do something with the ignition, and they lose the cover with the inside down, into this, on the pants, and you hear it like when they're putting it on, go. And when they come in, it's like a gap.
Well, it is a lot of stories about, we can talk an ages about that as well. Not only with the ignition, but the other things, we've been trying as well. Some things are crazy, but it is a Speedway crazy show, so we can talk about the
everything
crazy
is crazy. Martin Smolinski said it too, and he needed a haircut, and his hair was like long. You've been riding yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right, it's a big word. I've got a chance to have a try to just get the laps, not riding, honestly, That was the time when I worked with Bjarne. But first of all, I was in the Speedway training school when I was 13 years old, but the queue was too long. That was a long story about, we can speak about that the other time if you like, but...
I got one quick question. You said the queue was too long. How many? How many did you have there?
At least was 30 of us.
Wow.
To be in training school in Bydgoszcz, you need to be 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they check your school ID. What year you've been born. That was 1990. That's the first one when I first joined the training school. I put my ID, the school ID, into the dirt. Make some scratches and then change this born date from 77 to 75, and they then said, okay, you go. Now I'm quite high, but by that time I was just a little, I don't 150 maybe.
Yeah.
So, and then was like a 30 of the guys. Most of them is 15 or more, and they've been queuing for a couple of bikes, like 3-4 bikes, 3-4 sets of the leather suit with boots, and they share it. The first guy who's going off, they take it off, and then the next one in the queue get it, and things like that. So
you like sharing the sweat.
The last in the queue. So the training session was from 3 to 5 afternoon. So when the 5 o'clock it's over, this is about middle of the queue have a chance to join the bike. So then the rest of us have to wash the bikes or wash the bikes. It's something special. We brush the workshops, cleaning some bits and pieces. That was the early begin. And I never get a chance to get into the bike, but more I like it to do it, washing the bikes at the beginning. But then also my dad by that time find out I'm start missing the school very often. Instead of going to school in the morning, I went to the workshop and then try to be a little bit earlier in the stadium and things like that. But after 2 weeks, my dad find out and get into my teacher and say, well, he's not in school for 2 weeks. And then he was surprised, and my dad didn't tell me nothing. He just go follow me next day into the stadium and went into the major mechanic at the stadium. He was just like boss of the workshop. And then he said, Rafi was not in school for last 2 weeks. And he was like shocked. He said, out. And the next day when I get back, that was Saturday, and he said, I told you out. And then 1990s, that was the early began when the Golops get back from Gdańsk to Bydgoszcz. And then they want to get the workshop independent. They want to do it own way, a little bit professional. They've got their own bikes and things like that. And then Golop, that was a little bit across with that mechanic. And then when he see I was out from the workshop, quite sad, walk away, and then he said, what's happened, little boy? And I said, he stuck me. He said, oh, no, you're going to help us. That's the beginning. He gave me the chance. So
he opened the door.
Yeah, so that was the very begin, but afterwards, I got a big pressure from my dad to get a proper education. So I finished the bakery school first, be the baker for the while, for the year or something. But my heart's still in Speedway,
Yeah.
so I did carry on, get back, and then learn more and more, and then end of the day end up as the mechanic.
We're really happy to have you there in the speedway here in the speedway world, Rafal. You're doing an
Honestly,
important job, you know.
the person who got a chance um, to bring my passion into change my passion into my work now.
Yeah.
That's what now is my job, and then also with the business as well. But I can say I'm being very lucky, boys, to have a chance for this kind of life.
Yeah, I just remember I came to your shop. I was not doing any business there with you, but I came there. I felt so welcome. And you showed me around, and I see that passion that you showed me then is the same you have now. So it was probably good you skipped school a little bit,
Well,
and stopped the bakery.
I don't gonna say it straight over to my son. He's 13 now,
No, no, no.
and
He should not, but because today is different times.
yeah, well, but I think that was a pretty good times. Like I said, I have a chance to bring my passion into my job as well. But
Yeah.
I'm still have a lot of passion to do it even now. Even when it's more serious, you can get more response and things like that. But I'm still carry my sport journeys, with Speedway, and it's fantastic experience, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for joining the show, Rafael. Thank you
No
so
problem.
much. And we
Thank
will bring you back because we will get in questions and loads of questions from viewers that needed to be answered when it comes to the technical stuff.
you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. See you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Get your favorite rider in a Speedway canvas today. Buy them at speedwaycanvas.com.